We started our pilgrimage together with the words of Charles Spurgeon, who said that Psalm 131 was one of the shortest psalms to read, but one of the longest to learn. Eugene Peterson concurs by saying that Psalm 131 is such a minute psalm that many have overlooked it, but for all its brevity and lack of pretense, it is essential. The lessons that we've learned from these 3 short verses teach us that when we surrender ourselves to God, we find contentment in His presence. This is an essential truth needed for the individual to grow and mature in faith, but it is also essential for the Christian community to flourish in our world. This psalm must be lived out in our hearts and in our churches. In high school, my favorite class was journalism, mostly because it was the quintessential blow-off class. But there was also a part of me that longed to be a reporter, to spend my days gallivanting around the city, searching for truth that needed to be revealed, to discover issues plaguing our society and expose them to the world. In order to expose the truth, a reporter needs to ask a series of questions: who, what, where, when, how, and why. Who is involved? What happened? Where and when did the events occur? How did it unfold? And why is it important? Psalm 131 ends with this verse: Israel, put your hope in the Lord, both now and forever. So let's do some investigative reporting in order to expose the heart of this psalm and uncover the truth of this minute yet essential song. The first question we need to ask is who? Who is the audience? Who is this psalm directed towards? The first 2 verses explain that the psalmist has gone through a journey. He's not writing this psalm to promote his own self-righteousness. The first word in verse 3 reveals that this is not a psalm for personal praise, but a petition for the people of God. It says, Israel, put your hope in the Lord. The psalmist desires for his nation, Israel, his family, his friends, those closest to him. Israel, put your hope in the Lord. Discover the way of calm, quiet, hope, and trust. And what is the message that Israel needs to hear? What is the psalmist calling Israel to do? The answer, hope. Israel, hope in the Lord. Biblical hope is not a longing for a specific outcome. It's more than a desire just to see something happen. Tim Keller writes that Christian hope is not a hopeful wish, it's hope-filled certainty. John Stott expands on that, saying that Christian hope is a joyful and confident expectation which rests on the promises of God. For the Christian, hope is an act of surrendering ourselves and trusting that God knows what is best. In hope, we confess our proud hearts and our haughty eyes, and we no longer attempt to gain control on the things that are great and wondrous. And this leads us to our third question: where? Where do we place our hope? The psalmist writes, put your hope in the Lord. As Psalm 131 shows us, we often put our hope in things that we can control. We hope for a better job, so we beef up our resume. We hope for a better body, so we hit the gym. We think that if we can control the situation, we will do much better in life. We hope in ourselves and strive to do the things that we can do. We set goals that we can manage. When we place our hope in ourselves, our achievements and accomplishments fall short. And that is not Christian hope. Because Romans 8:24 says that hope that is seen is no hope at all. And Psalm 131 reminds us, true hope needs to be placed in the Lord. This leads to our next question: when do we place our hope in the Lord? Is it when things are going well, when we feel like God is blessing our lives? Or is it when we feel like the world is crashing around us and we need some spiritual encouragement? What about the times when things are just okay? Or those times when we feel spiritually numb? Do we only hope in the Lord when we need something? Psalm 131 says to put our hope in the Lord, both now, in our current situation, and forever, in every future situation. We are to continually hope at all times, always. When things are going great, put your hope in the Lord. When things are crashing down, hope in the Lord. When life seems status quo, hope in the Lord. When you can't feel His presence, hope in the Lord. Put your hope in the Lord now and always. Why? Why do we place our hope in the Lord? Why do we even need hope? And why is it an essential part of our faith? Psalm 130 verse 7 says, Israel, put your hope in the Lord, for there is faithful love with the Lord, and with Him is redemption in abundance. So why do we put our hope in the Lord? Because of His faithful love. His faithful love has been with us our entire lives. His faithful love sent His Son to earth to become one of us. His faithful love led Jesus to the cross, taking on our sin and shame. His faithful love conquered death, and His faithful love redeems our souls. So why do we put our hope in the Lord? Because His faithful love brings redemption in abundance. All of the other systems of our world will fail us. Our looks fade, our money disappears, our health gives way. All the things that we attempt to put our hope in fall short. Only God is eternal. Only God that can truly calm and quiet our restless souls. As John Stott says, hope in the Lord does not disappoint us and never will. It will never betray us by proving to be an illusion. The reason our hope will never let us down is that God will never let us down. His love will never give us up. This leads to our final question. How? How do we put our hope in the Lord? How do we surrender our pride and arrogance in order to discover the calm and quiet of a life with God? We put our hope in the Lord by patiently waiting. The Message version of Psalm 131 ends with, wait with hope. Hope now, hope always. We hope by being patient. We hope by trusting that the God who holds us in His loving arms is faithful. We wait in hope. If you're feeling confident, wait in hope. If you're feeling uncertain, wait in hope. If you feel like the bottom is going to drop out, wait in hope. Eugene Peterson writes, hope is based on the conviction that God is actively involved in His creation and vigorously at work in redemption. Hoping does not mean doing nothing. It means going about our assigned tasks, confident that God will provide the meaning and conclusions. It means a confident, alert expectation that God will do what He says He will do. It is a willingness to let God do it His way and in His time. And so, Israel, put your hope in the Lord, both now and forever. As we wait in hope, we patiently trust God to calm and quiet our souls.